Chapter 2. What is WICC education? WICC education explains that wokeism is a wrong idea with the potential to cause far greater harm than even Marxism. Wokeism must be understood and must be stopped. Failing this, our world could enter a time of great darkness and unthinkable levels of human suffering and death. Woke believers and activists believe their ways will cause human good, but wokeism's threat to humanity far outweighs the immense human devastation wrought by Marxism. This distinction between criminality and the harmful potential of a wrong or bad idea is extremely important. Unfortunately, champions on the right often approach loyal ideologues with the view they are motivated by immorality and criminality rather than pride and self-righteousness growing from their slavish devotion to wrong ideas. This all-important error by defenders of good is why the left most often wins and holds power for such long periods of time. Quite simply, their willingness even to die for their cause is overlooked, and they operate effectively in the shadows of that ignorance. Thus, we offer weak education with urgency to leaders and activists and the general public on the side of good at this unprecedented moment of real danger in human history. Defining the right and the left. For the sake of keeping this introduction short, and because of the potential for small nuances in language and definition to distract invested readers, I will use the old categories of left and right to refer to two approaches on how to positively shape our human future. The right is used here to classify people who respect and are grateful for the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and respect and admire the noble efforts at living faithfully to the knowledge that our freedoms and our rights come from nature and nature's God. Conversely, we use the term the left to refer to people and movements that believe that improving social and human life necessarily requires curtailing, constraining, and where necessary removing human rights given by God. People on the left believe that an elite group, by whatever definition, smarter, more virtuous, has the job of controlling others to guarantee equality and justice. In broad strokes, the two ideological options are characterized in this way. The right believes that a beneficent, transcendent author of reality, God, is the source and origin of human nature and human purpose, and is the benefactor of our freedoms and rights. The left rejects the existence of beneficent transcendence as the source of goodness and order, and as a result, left-based systems believe it is necessary to control and limit individual freedoms and rights of those deemed harmful to equality and justice. The self-defeating nature of the right. The right is often self-defeating in its persistent refusal to distinguish between bad intentions and bad ideas, and ends up drowning ourselves in efforts to catch and point out criminality and hypocrisy of the left. X and other social media chronicle likely billions of entries designed to give evidence that the left is immoral and hypocritical. All this does is create social media addicts, a bunch of wealthy elite right-side commentators, and the relentless growth, success, and dominance of the left. The right is busy posting about hypocrisy, while the left is busy buying judges and DAs in America and elsewhere in the free world. If the people carving up the tender bodies of grade school children and imprisoning teachers who inform victims' parents about it thought of themselves as criminals, they would be sneaking around hoping not to get caught. But they are not sneaking around. While the right tries to stop these monsters, they are not able to recognize that the perpetrators think of themselves as virtuous and good. These people are ready to die for what they believe. The right fails to be in touch with the nature of the forces it tries to defeat and dissolve, and wastes time ranting about the morals and profligacy of people who believe themselves good. The purpose of weak education. Weak education seeks to remedy these self-defeating habits of noble warriors on the right by providing cogent analysis of the ideas that mislead people, and likewise provide competing ideas to effectively remove and replace the evils being established all around us. These left and right type views of life have existed from the beginning of time. The basic idea of the right is that prosperity and freedom come from conscientious life and behavior that faithfully follows ideals originating in God and God's purpose. The basic idea of the left is that it will always be necessary to control others and remove people who dissent from the legislation of the elite by force or by elimination. The Bible marks this beginning of left and right postures with the Cain and Abel story. Every religion has a similar myth to describe these two types of thinking. these two types of problem solvers. One side represents working hard and trying to get things right. The other side represents the postures of blaming those who succeed as somehow the cause of my problems and must therefore be removed. If they are removed, I will finally be released and be happy. In Cain's case, removal was achieved by blunt force murder. Knowing this simple truth will help any politician, thinker, or activist clear away the smoke and see the powers and principalities that guide and underlie politics, society, and culture. Yes, by all means, it is necessary to understand the troubled views of woke champions like Kimberly Crenshaw, Michel Foucault, or Ibrahim X. Kendi, who are successful and important contributors to wrecking and poisoning American and free world societies. But this clear and simple left-to-right starting point can function as a North Star to help us wade through the complex squid ink that conceals the harm emanating from these people who claim and are believed by many to be beacons of hope. The choice is simple and has existed from the beginning of time. Two designs for improvement. Help and support people in their efforts to realize their God-given freedom responsibly, or remove people you feel are the cause of troubles, like whites or cisgender oppressors, for example. With this paradigm, we can confidently grasp the subtlety, nuance, and reality of the French Revolution, the Marxist Revolution, and likewise empower leaders to neutralize the violent aggression that defines and informs wokeism. Weak education structure. Weak education, in its most elementary form, requires approximately 4 hours to learn, basically a day. It is hoped that all leaders in all professions and occupations will someday find the time to learn this. The way to put our countries and our people on track toward a healthy life and community is not to tell them that people on the left are evil, but rather to be able to show the monstrous potential of woke ideas, ideas that lead to human degradation and destruction. Today is no different from earlier times when terror prevailed, except the exponential magnitude of wokeism's potential destruction defies our imagination. Here are the salient ideas in abridged form until you have the chance to learn weak education more deeply. As pointed out above, the essential spirit of the left and right has existed from the beginning of time. This precise paradigm is to be found everywhere, including in the history of international conflict and the rise and fall of empires and civilizations. This continues today. Our challenge now is how to defeat destructive ideologies and successfully open the way for a hopeful and constructive human culture. Failing that, we will enter a time of exceptionally strong tyranny, human genocide, and social collapse. This ends Chapter 2.